to those who are not currently here. And how can I do this? Move on. All right, so plan for today is Unit 1, Lesson 7. Be quiet. Thank you. Okay, so Unit 1, Lesson 7. Just some quick updates. If you weren't aware, the due dates for the last 2 assignments have come, but because there were technical confusions and people not even in the code.org class yet, I wouldn't say extended the due date, but in effect extended the due date for, as in, if you contacted me and told me what you missed and completed it, I didn't take 10% off like I normally would in the future. And remember, when you email me, put the name of the assignment in the email and period 3, and like the regular name, like for the Unit 1 U1L04 is what we're looking for in that. Okay, so today we are going to go to code. Hang on for a second, and go to the lesson, which is going to be lesson 7, Unit 1, lesson 7. If, I think we've said this before, but if you get to the page and it goes lesson 1, 3, 4, 7, that means 5 and 6 are not part of the assignment. And even though I will, if you want, I can allow access to those. The resources for their, like the representing text, which was just the ASCII system, which we talked about for like 5 minutes, and overflow and rounding. We watched the 2 videos from YouTube. Those aren't in, or the videos aren't on this this lesson. The binary odometer, or the widget, is linked here in our spreadsheet, so you don't actually need access to the lesson. Okay, so for lesson 7, we are going to talk about how black and white images work at the lowest level, meaning the most basic. Lowest level meaning, in abstraction terms, the most complex, sort of, like all the way down at the level of bits, how black and white images work. We've talked about how bits and binary can make numbers. I mean, they are numbers. We can, with that, create numbers of any size, depending on how many bits. We can convert, we can use those bits to make text with our ASCII system, which I don't know if I have to download it again, but just so that you recall, that's not what I want. What I want is student resources. The ASCII chart. This is, I'm sure I said last time, but going to be much more relevant when we do the internet, or how the internet works unit, which is the next unit, and are actually sending bits to make a message or to affect text with various protocols. Not critical now, but the key is we can use bits to create characters. Okay, now we are going to use bits to make images, starting with black and white images. And this first video, if you are watching it in asynchronously, meaning later with the Zoom recording, I recommend finding the video, and I'll link it in the spreadsheet, and not instead of watching it on the Zoom recording, just because it's always going to be pretty garbage the way Zoom the way
My name's Lydia Choi.
come on. Yeah, the way Zoom compresses, and we'll talk about compression later also. It's the way that it, where's share sound? The way that it actually makes teleconferencing and video conferencing work so well is that it compresses the audio and video so much, it just throws out a lot of data so that not as much needs to be transmitted, which is necessary, but it compromises video quality. Like that's what it does. So like I said, if you want to watch, if you're watching this in the future, in our presence future, then you should find this video just regular on YouTube, but I don't know. Here we go.
My name's Lydia Choi. I work for Oculus as a technical art director, and I'm currently working on virtual reality hardware.
It's kind of like a baseball cap, so it's kind of like this motion. Okay. And then you flip down the headset.
Current thing that we're building is a virtual reality sculpting tool, trying to simulate like clay sculpting in space. Welcome to the Pixelation Widget, where you will encode a black and white image by typing out the binary yourself. Don't worry, it's easier and more fun than you might think. In this widget, the first 2 bytes, 16 bits of data, are used to define the width and height of the image you want to encode.
This first lessons version of the widget doesn't have metadata for size, but we will eventually.
The first 8 bits define the width, and the second 8 bits the height. You have to type out all the bits, but the widget shows you the decimal translation so you can make sure you're typing the numbers you want. To make it easier to keep track of where you're typing, you can add spaces and line breaks to the binary code. The widget doesn't pay attention to them, it just interprets the bits that are there. And now it's easier for me to see which bits I need to change to set the width and height I want. I'm going to make a very small image that's just 4 pixels by 4 pixels. Now the fun part. After we've set the width and height of the image, the next bits we type are the bits that define how the pixels are colored. We're just working in black and white for now, so keep it simple, 1 bit per pixel. In digital images, we define color in terms of light, and we can turn the lights behind each pixel on or off. So we let a 1 mean turn the light on, which gives us white. A 0 means turn the light off, which gives us black. Did you notice that I added line breaks when I was typing so that I could keep track of the row I was working on? That's a handy trick, and we actually have buttons that will help you with that. If you click the raw format button, it will strip out all the spaces and line breaks so you can see what the raw binary code looks like. The readable format button will reinsert spaces and line breaks to make it easier to read and edit. If you screw up your spacing or get lost in the bits, you can always hit format and it will clean things up for you. Let's look at an example of a bigger black and white image. If you click actual size, it will show you what your image looks like when using the real pixels on your computer. For images here, it's probably going to be pretty small. Lastly, you can save the wonderful image you've made by clicking Save PNG. This will take the current state of your canvas, whether you're zoomed in or showing actual size, and pop into a new window. You can drag the image from there to your computer or save it in some other way.
All right, so there are a couple differences from whatever year that was made to what we're doing now, but you're going to go to lesson 7, and the pixelation widget is not yet. Hold on, wait. Screen's off. Still explaining. The widget is one of, that's what they just call the generic term for these browser tools, and it is going to match with the activity from the lesson in the spreadsheet, the Unit 1 Lesson 7 black and white pics. And just like any of our activities, you're going to do file, make a copy, and put your name in the beginning and get rid of copy of, so I know you're paying attention. Okay, and then on your copy, you are going to need to open something up real quick. Let's open up that. On your copy, you're going to answer the questions that need to be answered here. And on your code.org account, which you'll be able to see more, you're going to do the work for these activities, including the check for understandings. And I will check, I'm grading all of the bubbles and check for understandings. When you do them and do finish, it saves. I mean, it's not permanent. You can go back and change it, but we'll wait for Active Inspire to load up. Regardless, the worksheet is like this. And let's even go F11. Okay, so the first activity is challenge A. Again, Active Inspire. There we go. Hold on a second, guys. Just hold on a second. I appreciate the sentiment, but I need one more second of your attention. So the first activity is we are taking a basic black and white image and representing it basically. And the idea is this is our what we'll call analog image, and we are converting it to a digital image. And that means each one of these squares is going to be a pixel that is either on or off. Now, there is a flaw in that because it is the resolution will make it kind of difficult on purpose. So the first thing is to figure out what is the resolution of this image. So you can just count. Some of you may want a printout of this so that you can, write on it, and that's fine. I can get you one, but most of you won't. Either way, this image is 3, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 wide and 8 tall. And so let's make our image width 6, our image height 8, and we do not have to worry about the metadata, which was what was explained in the video. There is a widget later that does require you to deal with metadata, but for here, you are just going to go through and decide whether a pixel should be on or off. And there is still the readable format situation where it spaces them out and line breaks for every line. So this last pixel right here is this right here, which you can switch to there. But the way that it's going to work is you're going to go through each square and decide, is it on or is it off? Okay, this first one, definitely on. All right, the second one has a little bit of black, but it's predominantly white, so it's going to be on. This one, I think, is probably more than 50% black, so that would be off. Same thing here, off. I'd say this one is on. It's more than half white, and this one's all white. So it's on, off, on for the first row. On, off, on. And that's how this progresses for here. Okay, then you go down the second row. On, off, and you kind of have to make these judgment calls like, is this one more on or more off? Well, you kind of got to figure it out. decide for yourself. And once you do, you're done with this bubble. Next bubble is, I think this is the higher res one. It is, no, it's not. I thought one of these was the higher res one. That one is just figuring out what pixel is broken. Okay. Hold on. Is this the first one? No, this is, never mind. What is the first activity? Give me a second. Guys, for real, hold on a second. That means like stop. Go ahead and turn off your screens, close Chromebooks, that sort of thing. All right, so I was mistaken. 4 and 5 are the low res and high res black and white images, meaning the low res duck. Yeah, misspoke. Okay, so the first one, my bad, is make a 3x5 letter A. So we'll start with 3 wide and 5 tall, and you're going to go through. And for this letter A, which this is the pop-up window when you get here, but you can retrieve it by clicking on the description over here. You're going to go through and just copy a 3x5 A on, off, on, and so on. Third bubble is create or figure out which pixel is wrong and why it makes this shape. Looking through the example, you need to switch one or replace one. Okay. Bubble 4 is the low res sample of the duck, or excuse me, goose, I suppose. And is it a goose? Yeah, we'll call it a goose. Okay, which corresponds to this, and answer these questions. Then for bubble 5, it's the same goose, but with higher resolution, with this resolution, which is, I think, double, like 12 by 16, maybe. I don't know, count out the squares. And you're going to go through each one and decide, is it on or is it off? Is it on or off? And so on. I recommend doing some sort of multiple window situation so that you can see both at the same time instead of having to alt tab back and forth. And then bubble 6 is, I think this is the last widget, and then check for understandings. Bubble 6 requires you to select a company logo, and you are going to, you can choose any logo, and first is make a 10 by 10 pixel version of it. Guys, like for real, just thank you. 10 by 10, and do your best to make a copy of it. You know, I don't know, the Apple logo or Nike or something like that. And when you're done, you are going to do save image, and you can right click copy image and put this onto your worksheet. And then also copy the bits from this one. Control C, copy or whatever. Okay, so that would go there. Obviously, you'd have more bits than that. Then you're going to do a higher res version of that, or a different logo if you really want to, but a one that is at least 20 by 20, and do the same thing with copy your image to this and your bits right below it. Okay, you can do some sort of collaborating, meaning like help each other, but everyone's handing in their own work. And then there are 3 check for understandings. Let me move it over here so I don't just give away all of the answers. And go like this. And they are not all short answer. First one is multiple choice, or choose 2, a true multiple choice. Then another multiple choice, okay, which of the following would be a better approximation of an analog black and white image. And the last one, short answer, about sampling. Okay, so that's what's happening here in your like either in the goose one or your the logo emoji of your choice, you are taking something that has curved lines and sampling it into a pixelated version. Okay. All right, so go ahead and get started, make the copy of your worksheet, and the assignment is technically, we'll have it due Wednesday. That's completing all of the activities and the worksheet uploaded to the assignment on Canvas. Okay, so go.